Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Sunday night with your host, Vicky. I'm not gonna lie, this week's been rough for me, and I don't feel as up as I did last time when we had this conversation. But this is why I had to do it tonight, because I am a survivor. We're surviving this shit, and we're gonna move forward because we're stronger. All right? Yes. Let's turn this down because we do laugh harder. Amen to that. This whole week I've been talking about our safety plans. That's something that's usually given to you when you're in an emerge situation, or if you have a mental health team between your nurse and yourself and your psychiatrist. And it just gauges and is a reminder for you personally you have people on your team, and it's I'd like to say that for me personally it's something that works, but it's not. And it's kind of I'm not opposed to a safety plan, because if it helps anyone out there, by all means, I'm for it, and different things work for different people. So we're gonna talk about that stuff tonight, and I hope that it's something that is helpful to you. You can get this piece of paper from me. Just email me at vickypowell.com, or in my Instagram, or on my Facebook. And obviously, I'm going to show you this piece of paper now. I googled it I googled it this week, and it was like these organizations that are private, and they ask for like money to join and to get these papers. And that's complete bullshit, because you can get this from any health professional that you want, or now even me. So here we go. So this is like what a safety plan looks like. Okay, guys, right here is questions, and then there's questions in the back, and usually you do it with like one of your health professionals. So basically, I'm going to take you through it. So it says, I will give a copy of this plan to these people. So that's how, no, I'm sorry, I'm starting on the wrong page. Never mind, start again. Okay, so safety plan step 1. First, dated, and then updated if needed, right? Because this is an ongoing situation that we have, that we constantly have to keep working at. That's why I'm still doing this podcast, regardless of how crappy I personally feel. It's not about how I feel today. It's about how many people we can have think a little bit differently, or just receive some help low key if that's what they want. All right. So step 1, it says keep the area around me safer. So stay away from these people, places, or things. So you're establishing safe areas for yourself, and that is just something you would fill in here. Step 2, know I am headed towards a crisis. That is extremely helpful. Fuck, if I could avoid those things in my life, I would have caused a lot of people a lot of less harm. But it is really difficult, because this disease is not rational. So you can't rationalize with something that isn't rational, guys. And I have to tell myself that repeatedly. 12 years of this, I repeatedly have to remind myself, right? So it says, these thoughts, these feelings, images, situations, and behaviors tell me I'm in a crisis, and it could be starting. It's really good to figure out what your triggers are. If you're an addict, being around drugs would be a trigger, and you would know that. And this is same thing with mental health. Maybe you're around other people that have mental health, and they trigger you into a bad health space, and you have to move away from them. Actually, that happened to me quite recently. I was working with a girl that I have seen grow into a woman, but she's very sick, and I thought I could fix her, to be honest, because I'm a mom, and moms, we can do whatever the fuck we want, really. and we can make things happen. But no matter how much work and effort I put into this particular situation, it was never going to happen without the help first of the best mental health team that I could possibly find her. And I did. But her situation was starting to cause me like a bit of a trigger, and that had never happened before. So I had to make space, and it killed me because it didn't feel right to me after knowing this person for so long and loving them and wishing the best. I had to learn to love them in a different way, and it was heartbreaking to me. It still hurts me now because I miss her, and she's funny and smart, but needs a lot of help, and I couldn't ultimately give that for her, even with all the love that I had to provide. And I finally got her into good doctors and finally got her onto good meds, but still it's triggering for me. So I had to take a time out. I don't know how much time is needed. I still check in, not often, but I'm checking in, and I feel a bunch of like weird feelings around it, but I have to think of myself first, right? And if you can't work on yourself first, then you're really, 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 really just useless to anybody else around. And that's just the truth. It's not me being mean or anything. It's just the truth. So next step, use my skills to get me through my crisis. Okay. These physical and social mental things help calm me, comfort me, or distract me. These reminders are reminders to myself for the reasons I like to live. So that's a pretty, maybe this is more helpful than I actually realized. Maybe I've just never given it a try because I've always been so hostile when I get them that I'm just like, fuck you. I don't want any of this. I don't want to know. I don't want to hear it. I'm just miserable, and that's it. I want to die. So that's another thing I wanted to mention. So when I first had my overdose and I tried to commit suicide, it was it didn't stop there, guys. It wasn't a one-time initiation of that action. It was several almost on a yearly basis, and I had a family to raise, my mind to get straight. So here I go. All right, guys, so that wasn't a one-time attempt, and I actually don't know that in my life that I'll ever be safe from myself, and that's why I'm here doing this, because it's never ending, guys. It's never ever ending, and I hope like small things like this piece of paper will just give you some insight of yourself. You don't have to share this with anybody. You don't. You can do it for yourself, right? I'm actually getting a lot of insight doing this right now. I don't think I've ever actually done this in Sound Mind. So it seems like it's very rational at the moment, but in those times for me, it was not. This was not for me. So number 4 asks, ask for help. Some of the hardest things to do is to ask for help, you know? And it says, I can reach out to these people, places, or social settings, and then it gives you like a code word. That goes to show you that I have never like done this in Sound Mind. So that tells you the state you're in sometimes, to not even remember or recall something so little that actually might be impactful. And I think I might actually, after all this is said and done, take some of my own advice and do it. What do I have to lose? I'm of Sound Mind, right? What do I have to lose? Anyways, it says I can ask for people for help that are professional and personal. Great tip. So you know it. Number 5 is go to the nearest hospital. So that's, all these things are obvious until you're mentally unwell and suicidal, you know? That's the problem. You're asking somebody to be rational when they're unrational, and to even make the call to go to the hospital. And again, I'm lucky to have support, but if I hadn't had that kind of support, guys, I don't know like what my life would look like. And I don't mean to be depressing, but that's just the truth. And I just want to always come from a place of honesty, because I think people need to be honest with themselves. And if I can be like this in this setting and share these things, then why not to your own personal self? And why not to people around you that are waiting to help you? You just have to say something. So go to the nearest hospital or call 911, you know. And again, when someone is suicidal, it's alluring death, because it's final, and you get to you just get peace, right? And it's one thing to have a physical illness, but it's a completely different thing. Your mind controls all aspects of your body, so you also it controls you physically. Like I told you earlier, I had a hard week, and it stumped me physically, because I was so tired, and that's a common factor for me, where I just get these lows and I start getting tired, and I get scared, because I'm like, oh God, like, am I gonna get depressed, or what's gonna happen? Am I gonna go to the hospital? And 3 weeks ago I almost did, and that's not too long ago, right? But that's preventative care, which you'd put you in a psych ward to make sure that you don't, go to your furthest point, and you have a lot shorter stay at the hospital and a closer look from the doctors. And my personal hospital is my saving grace. I know that's weird, but I love that hospital. I love being there when I'm sick. I'm treated like a person, and I have humility because of it. And I am able to be myself with these great nurses and great doctors. Some of that doctors are assholes, and that's just you're gonna have to run into many of those. But in all, I'm fortunate, to call a hospital home. It's kind of messed up, but it is really, for me, that says, I will give a copy of this plan. So this is no longer steps, but it says, like, you'll give a copy of this, it's hard to read it backwards, of this plan to these people, so that everybody is on board if anything does happen to you and they can't get to you, and you get a call from the hospital. Like, they could have this and have your list of meds and everything in advance, like if there was an emergency. And then it says, and then it asks you if you have, so this is a safety plan. So like I said, when you get sick, you can go to your mental health department in the hospital, and you'll be given paperwork. Unfortunately, it's always paperwork, so you can bring somebody with you. And then you do the paperwork, and depending where you're at, when you fill these papers, then you will get immediately your appointment, the location of the address, and call to change or cancel. And then of course here are the final, and you have emergency contacts, all for the Lower Mainland here, for children, for adults, for teenagers, every kind. I posted this on my Instagram in great detail, so by chance, if you don't have not seen this and need it, again, just sorry, I'm so tired. I just have a hard time thinking, and this is kind of like the problem. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna bring my boyfriend on, and we're gonna talk about how it is to be with someone like me. Depending on how it goes and how curious everybody is, it could be a one-time, or it can be we're just trying to feel it out. So use the safety plan, guys. Be smarter than I've been in my past. Create less harm for yourself and your family by filling out these paperworks. I actually do think I'm going to, so I guess I just taught myself a lesson. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna call my boyfriend out here, and we can see. He's been with me now for 3 years, so he's gone through this kind of chaos with me on a few occasions. And surprisingly, I've never asked him how he felt about it. Maybe I'm scared. Maybe I should be scared. I don't know. But we've never really discussed it, you know. It's just kind of like we go through the motions. I get in the hospital, I get out of the hospital. Everybody walks on eggshells around me for like a week or two, and then everything goes back to normal. And then it's just like same thing over and over. So this is going to be interesting, guys. And I look forward to seeing what he has to say.